Hi, it's Ross from Oracle Card Academy and welcome to this video where I'm going to be sharing with you what to ask Oracle cards. Now, asking Oracle cards the right questions and knowing what to ask Oracle cards really does build the most amazing foundation for all of your readings. I really think that a reading is only as good as the question that you ask, but it's not really talked about. People kind of like just choose a card. What do you want me to know today is a really common question that people ask, and that's fine. That's fine if that's a question that you ask, but it doesn't really give you an accurate message. It doesn't really give the Oracle cards a chance to give you amazing answers. So the clearer you can be with the questions that you ask, and when you know what to ask Oracle cards, the clearer the answers can be, the clearer the guidance can be. Do you find that, like, you sit down with your Oracle cards and you've got your moment and you're excited and your mind just goes completely blank? It's like you've got so many things that you want to know, so many questions that you had 10 minutes ago, and suddenly you've sat down and all of the questions have just evaporated. They've just gone. I can relate to that. I can understand that. I know what it's like. So I'm going to show you two things in this video, one of them will give you a really clear default, something that you can always ask your Oracle cards, which will really allow your cards to give you amazing personal guidance. And I'm also going to help you to understand how you can structure your questions so that they can really help you to get accurate guidance through. Because, like I say, I really believe that the guidance that your cards can give you is only ever as good as the questions that you ask. But let's start with what not to ask your Oracle cards first. Do not ask your Oracle cards yes or no questions. So like, will this happen? Will he marry me? Does she like me? Don't ask the Oracle cards yes or no questions, because they cannot answer yes or no questions. They just can't. We need to, in order to get really amazing guidance from cards, be a little bit more creative and really understand what Oracle cards are. They're a creative tool. They're a tool which helps you to access wisdom from the universe and also wisdom from within. So it's working out what you want, which will help you to form an amazing question. So no yes or no's, no yes or no questions. The other thing not to ask your Oracle cards is for predictions about the future, because your destiny is not set. You have control and say. And the universe and the Oracle cards will help you to work out what you want and how you can get it. They are an empowering tool. An empowering creative tool is what Oracle cards are. And the other thing is, don't ask questions which are about what are the blocks. I see that quite a lot. What are the blocks? And I'm going to show you what I mean, because it's very difficult with the positive, wonderful Oracle cards, which I enjoy using, for them to deliver that kind of advice, that kind of information. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm using an Old Faithful deck here to demonstrate this to you. This is Denise Lynn Gateway. I love these cards. Really love them. They're really lovely cards. Really beautiful. A really, really nice deck. An old favourite. An Old Faithful. Absolutely. So going back to what I was saying about, asking for predictions and yes or no's, let's just demonstrate this now. And also asking for, what are the blocks? Okay. So let's just say, will I be a millionaire by next Tuesday? What would the card be? Will I be a millionaire by next Tuesday? Simplify your life. Doesn't really make any sense, does it? Okay, can't answer yes or no's. Let's ask another question which has to do with predictions. So, will I be a millionaire in my lifetime? Will I achieve all of my goals? What is my destiny? What is my destiny? Let's go for that. What is my destiny? Stand firm. I'm noble, brave and strong. It's not getting the answer to you that it wants to get to you. I'm going to show you how to do this. And then there's the other questions, aren't there? Like, what are the blocks? What are the blocks in this situation? What are the blocks in this situation? Follow your bliss. Surely that should be the answer to moving through the block. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't work. And that's part of the reason that people get so frustrated when they're using oracle cards, because it's like they don't give me the right answers. And I get it, I totally understand it. So I want to show you 2 ways that you can ask the right questions. Okay, so I talked about the default one at the beginning. So the default one is an Oracle Card Academy go-to question. And I mentioned this, I go through this in quite a lot of detail in my book, Oracle Cards Talk to Me. The go-to question is a default question that you can always ask your Oracle cards. If you're sitting down and you're feeling like, you want to work with your cards, but you just don't know what to ask, then the go-to question that we have at Oracle Card Academy is, how can I bring the most amazing positive energy into my life today? How can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? And you're shuffling and you're thinking to yourself, how can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? Let's see. Trust your intuition. How can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? This is the message for everybody. How can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? Trusting your intuition. That makes much more sense, doesn't it? So that's the go-to question. How can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? And at Oracle Card Academy, we have a way of not just getting the message for everybody, which is what's on this card, but really getting your own personal messages just for you. And that's through the symbol that speaks to you the most in every card. But asking a go-to question and choosing a card, how can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? Trusting your intuition. It's a clear answer, isn't it? You've asked a good question and you've got a clear answer. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is how you can ask questions, how you can create your own questions to ask Oracle cards. So rather than not predictions, not yes or no, not what is the block, not questions which the Oracle cards can't answer, but thinking about what they can answer. And again, I talk about this in Oracle Cards Talk to Me, which is my book. But I explain that when you've got a problem, you can't speak to that problem when you ask the Oracle cards a question. So I'm a mum and I love my children. I've got 2 boys and I love them. They're wonderful. And they also drive me absolutely crazy sometimes. And they push boundaries because children do. And what I find is that when I'm in a situation where I've got a problem, say for example, my kids are pushing my boundaries, my kids are driving me crazy, my kids are making me feel like I just need to when they push your buttons, when they just push and you feel like you are getting into a stress about something that they're doing. Oracle cards can help you with those problems, but they can't help you if you're asking about the problem. You've got to work out what you want. So if your kids are driving you nuts, there's no point asking them about, why are my kids driving me nuts, or how much longer will my kids drive me nuts for? Or are my kids driving me nuts, yes or no? The Oracle cards can't answer that question, but what they can answer is when you know what you want. So if my kids are driving me nuts, what do I want? How can I stay calm? How can I have a better relationship with my children? How can I have a bit more fun with my kids? How can I get us to work as a team? Do you see that I've got a problem, which is my kids driving me nuts, but the how can I is asking for a solution. So whenever you use Oracle cards, if you start with a problem that you might have, work out what you want or what would improve where you are and ask how to. How can I? Or what can I do? How can I or what can I do? And if you ask how can I and what can I do questions to your Oracle cards, then you're going to get amazing answers. Let me demonstrate it. Okay, so how can I enjoy a peaceful relationship with my children? How can I make dinner times more relaxed? Whatever you want. Look at the problem and then ask, how can I, once you've worked out what you want. And by the way, I don't automatically come round to working out what I want. If something's driving me nuts, I go through a phase of complaining about it and moaning about it and wishing it weren't so. But then you get to the point where you've gone through that kind of pity party, which is what one of my friends always used to say and used to make me laugh. And you're like, right, let's just deal with this now. Let's see what we can do to solve this now. So the way that you can solve that is, how can I enjoy a calm relationship with my children? Or how can I have more fun with my kids? That's always really where I want to go to. I like having fun. How can I have more fun with my kids? Okay, so we shuffle the cards. How can I have more fun with my kids? And let's see what we got. How can I have more fun with my kids? Trusting your intuition again. There we go. Wonderful, that card's come up. So trust my intuition. Let me think about what that card means to me. What does that mean to me? Trusting my intuition is trusting the way that I feel. Allowing myself to be more sensitive and more aware. And you can explore that yourself. What does trusting your intuition mean to you? Because every single card that you choose has a wonderful message for all of us. And the way you get your personal message is by looking at the symbol or the colour that speaks to you the most. And I'll speak about that in my other videos. Okay? So, how can I? You've got a problem. Don't speak to the problem. Work out what you want and ask, how can I? Let's do it again. What can I do? Let's use it as an example of what can I do. What can I do to get on better with my kids? If trusting your intuition comes out again, I will fall off my stool. What can I do to get on better with my kids? My boys. What can I do to get on better with my boys? It'd be funny if it's just your intuition. No, it's not. There's no one I can see. Cultivating prosperity. Lovely. Cultivating prosperity. Okay, the abundance of the universe is pouring into my life. It's a lovely message. Cultivating. Cultivating is about, for me, it's like putting deliberate effort and energy into something. Cultivating that environment. I'm the adult in this relationship. There are lots of things that I can do to change the environment, change the situation. And then we go into the personal message, which is the symbol and colour that speaks to you the most. So it's really about not looking at the problem, not asking for yes or no's, not predictions, but oracle cards are an empowering tool. They're a creative tool. They'll help you to get answers. They'll help you to achieve what you want. So working out what you really want and asking, how can I and what can I do? But also when you aren't at that point where you can ask the how to or what can I do questions, you can always ask the go-to question. How can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? So I'd love to hear your comments on this video. I'd love you to write down your how can I and what can I do questions so that we can all be inspired and get new ideas about what to ask our oracle cards. I'd love it if you were to write down what happened when you used the go-to question. How can I bring the most positive energy into my life today? And if you like this video, then I think you might like the next one, which is understanding oracle cards. So I hope to see you in the next video.